Hi everyone, this is Al Woods from Woods Recruiting, the Broken Star. I want to tell you the story about a high school basketball player, 18 years old, 6'8", 250 pounds. So back in the day when I was in college, our coach brought in these high school players to scrimmage some of us. It was 5-on-5. We ran full court. And one of the guys was the guy I just spoke of, who had some size, raw talent, but what happened to him after that is the shocking thing. And so I want to tell this story, and I would appreciate it if you all listen all the way through this story, because it's an amazing story. It's very tragic, but I want to tell it. So back in the day, college basketball, we're playing this guy and his other high school teammates or other high school players. I don't even know if they were on the same team. But after the scrimmage was over, these guys left, and we went on about our business, and that was pretty much it. So move forward till December of 1999. It's the Christmas season, and the more he kept telling me the story about what happened to him, I forgot the reason why I was downtown at the Terminal Tower in Cleveland in the first place. I was there to get some Christmas stuff, some games for my son, and I wasn't even thinking about that anymore. We sat there for probably 5 hours just talking about basketball, about life, about what I was doing, all of this kind of stuff. And I just couldn't stop talking to him. I couldn't stop listening. I wanted to hear everything about what happened to him. I mean, I'm still messed up over the fact that this guy was 6'8", 250 pounds, and never played 1 second of college basketball, never got an education. How it was just taken from him. And so at that point, I didn't even care about Christmas anymore. I didn't even think about why I was down there in the first place anymore. I just wanted to keep talking to him and do whatever I could to help him out. I mean, the spirit of Christmas is giving and to think of others, and that's kind of what it was. I could always come back to the store a week or 2 weeks later and do what I had to do. I was doing pretty good in the business at that point. But I wanted to understand it. It was just so shocking because it's somebody who you saw years earlier who had a promising future ahead of them, and it was taken away. And so it's like, I believe we all have a moral obligation to help and assist student athletes if we can, and we should. I don't think we should turn anyone away who comes to us for help, because now that was kind of like the spark for the rest of my career as a college scout, running a recruiting service, was we got to help them all. Even if some of them can't pay, we still got to help them. We got to do it because I realize what could happen if they don't get to the next level. I realize the devastation it could cause when they don't have sports in their lives. I mean, this guy had to work minimum wage jobs. Then he couldn't keep a job. He was into drugs and alcohol, one problem after another. And he's looking like an old bum homeless man. He should have been a man wearing a suit and tie, carrying a briefcase. So we've got to do better. And I know we can. And I know many of you out there who are listening to this do a phenomenal job of working with student athletes. But I want you to understand that there is an other side to this. There's another side. There's the positive side of what happens when they go off to college. But then there is another side when they have talent and it's left unfulfilled. Their life is destroyed. There's no future. There's no hope. There's nothing going on. And I sat there that day in December of 1999 listening to this guy's story for 5 hours. I was mesmerized. I think I'm saying that right. I was mesmerized by what he was telling me because I remember how he looked when he was 18 years old. And that's just the horrible part, the disgusting part of this whole story, is that he went from potential to disaster in a matter of 14, 15 years. I just kept thinking over and over after I left him that day. And by the way, I never saw him again after that. And I had been to the Terminal Tower many times since that day. Sometimes I was even just walking around. Maybe I would run into him again, but I never saw him again after that. So I don't know what happened to him. But the thing I kept thinking about was how it was different from me, how it could have been me, how I didn't get that, how if I didn't get that chance when I was in Chicago. I played in a radio station charity basketball game. I was 19 years old, and I did really well, and we won the game, all of that. But the referee after the game, he approaches me and asking me about playing in college and all of that. And I said, yeah, I was interested. I gave him the phone number that I knew. And the following week, I'm getting phone calls from college coaches from all over the country. It ended up being about 200 schools. I got on some newsletter by this guy named Rick Ball out of Florida someplace. And that kind of changed my whole life. But what if it never happened? What if the ball had bounced the other way? What if I never played in that game? What would my life had been about? Because still, even up until that time, I was still shy, and I was still with not a whole lot of confidence. I was 19 years old. I'm not the same person now. I have sky-high confidence, and there's absolutely no shyness in me. I can talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. But that's one of the things that I thought about. That could have been me. I could have been some guy working the security guard, night watchman, with 100 keys on a keychain, 330 pounds, knock-kneed, barely can talk, all of that. That would have been me had I not went off and did it. So, I went all the way to Argentina to play basketball. So I've done a lot of things, started my own recruiting service and all of that. But that guy, who I don't even know his name, that guy that I sat there for 5 hours talking to about his life, never got a chance to do anything. It was all taken away from him. And that's the horrible thing about this whole story. So that's the story of the Broken Star. I wanted to share that. I actually wrote about it a long time ago, but I never published it because I just wanted to get it out of my system. But now I think it's appropriate now because we have so much going on in the world. And many of you who are a part of my newsletter are involved with student athletes, and maybe you can share this story with them. But everything is important. The kids getting out there to build up themselves athletically, to get their grades together and get into college, because it means everything. All of that is going to push them to an amazing life and an amazing future. But if they don't do it, and if there's no one behind them to push them, they're going to end up like this guy. So I'd like to know what you think of this topic. Please leave me a comment in the comment section below. Your comments are the oxygen I need to grow. Thank you so much for listening.